My name is Shanice Allen, and my topic that I chose from the fourth chapter is genetics and heritability in criminal propensity. Before discussing my opinions and those found through the facts of my research, I would like to first define the meanings of genetics, heritability, and criminal propensity. Genetics is defined as physical or mental traits inherited from family members in the makeup of your DNA. Heritability is something that you learn or inherit from your family's behavior or the circumstances around you. Criminal propensity is the natural tendency to behave in a manner with the capacity to commit crime. Also, during my research, I learned G by E, defined in the class text as a simple formula intended to highlight the fact that neither genes nor the environment are sufficient enough alone to explain such behaviors above, but that it is the interaction between the two that determines the outcomes of most circumstances. I used 3 outside sources along with the class text, which all came from Google Scholar. The conclusion of my research are as follows. The first article that I found from Google Scholar was Genetic Risk for Violent Behavior and Environmental Exposure to Disadvantage and Violent Crime. Criminologists underscored the importance of neighborhood context in the etiology of violence. Behavioral geneticists argued individual-level genetic propensities are important in understanding violence. Combining the two above, a study using the scale of genetic risk based on 3 dopamine genes analyzed and revealed genetic risk had greater influence on violent behavior when the individual was exposed to a neighborhood of disadvantage or when the individual was exposed to higher violent crimes. The second source of research that I found through Google Scholar was a book titled Biosocial Criminology, New Directions in Theory and Research by Anthony Walsh. In the book, it states that biosocial approach by looking at contribution of genetic variation to phenotypic variation in criminal behavior prove more accurate through reductionism. Reductionism is the process of examining complex phenomenon on a fundamental level. Reductionist accounts strengthen and augment biological mechanisms and environmental factors, underlining the importance of the criminal's environment in the terms of their genetics. The last outside source that I found through Google Scholar was Human Aggression Across the Lifespan, Genetic Propensities and Environmental Moderators. It states that fewer behavioral genetic studies have explicitly examined the question of genes by environment, but they are likely to exist, and the genetic propensity for aggression exerts more strongly in criminal situations. From the class text, I learned about researchers Hilger, Ropers, and geneticist Han Berner, who studied what was known by media as the Netherlands' most dysfunctional family. Excuse me. Though the family were of normal mental capacity, they were unable to control their impulse to commit violations of law and were often arrested. Upon tracing the family back 5 generations, they found 14 men in the family with criminal propensity and classified them as individuals genetically driven to criminality. After a decade of their research through neurophysiology, they found the mutated gene that caused the family's criminality. The gene monoamine oxidase A is responsible for the production of enzymes and involved in the process of transmitting brain signals by neurotransmission. Because the men in the family did not produce enough monoamine oxidase A, Their brains were overwhelmed, resulting in their uncontrollable urges to commit crime. This has been my presentation. Thank you.